Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to H4G. I'm Tony.
And I'm John. And Tony's got a blue disc at long last.
This was lent to us. It's on borrow from Andrew E. And this is a blue Nintendo 64 disk drive development disc for the Nintendo 64 DD development system. The DD, for those of you that don't know or maybe are new to the channel, was a system that was promised to us in the US, but was only teased, but was only released in Japan, very limited quantity, very few games, pretty rare, and then we have development hardware and software for it now.
Yeah, which is great because some of those blue discs may still have data from planned games, and they were planning ridiculous stuff.
Oh, yes, and that's
Sky
why
was the limit, especially for their hype.
Yeah.
And now these are slowly trickling out. Very, very, very fucking slow. So, what's the story behind that one?
So, this story is a little bit convoluted. It has some downs and it has some ups. So bear with us here. Basically,
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Indeed. When I was in Seattle, I tested 3 blue discs from a collector with Metal Jesus.
On top of Metal Jesus'
On top of
disc.
his. Yeah, his had software.
4 discs.
And the other 3 did not. So I get back, someone contacts me, Andrew contacts me and says, hey, I have a blue disc. But turns out that collector sold one of his off, and Andrew found it. So this is actually a disc I've already touched on before.
Long-lost friend.
Exactly.
You flew the whole way to Seattle to test that one, and now it flew the whole way here to see it again.
Yeah, exactly.
You two are just little lovebirds.
We're just little lovebirds. Exactly.
So, Tony, what's it like to kiss a girl?
You know, I was pretty much 95% sure this was the same disc. Turns out it actually was. And today we're gonna, you know, so we thought it was blank, right? And we were, you know, pretty much positive it was blank. But today what we're gonna talk about is how we actually test these things, because that's important, because, you know, first off, just to know why. Secondly, if you have a blue disc and you're wondering, like, well, how does this even work? When you lend it to us for a while, I'll go through that. But also some secondary things that we discovered how to test it, and some new programs and software that LuigiBlood, who was helping us all along, came up with. So now we have even more power and control over these, which is really good.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, let's go over what I did in Seattle to test this thing. I used a 64 drive, which essentially is a flash cart for debugging and you know, game creation, that kind of thing.
It's more developer-oriented than like an EverDrive.
Much more. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So basically, LuigiBlood gave me some programs, which he had authored and co-authored. The first of which is a dumping program. We attempted to dump, and then...
Did you wipe?
We did, and we didn't. So the dump didn't lead to anything. So the next step was to take a look at a disk viewer, which allowed us to look at the different LBAs, the different sectors on the disk. Now, a little bit of technical information here for those of you that are interested. Basically, sector LBA 0 through 23 is system area. Anything after that is game content. But developers always, if there's a game on it, always had to use the system area. There's always something on it if they utilized the disk and if there's something on the disk, right? Specifically, LBA 4 and 5 always have something on them. So you start there, you test, and as you can see, I was testing, but nothing came up.
Yeah.
Basically.
Jack shit.
So basically, this disc was blank. When it made its way back to me, LuigiBlood had thought of some new ways to possibly test it. So of course I ran through the same tests again, just to make sure, even though I was pretty much 100% sure anyways, when I was in Seattle. I mean, there's nothing on there. But he gave me 2 new programs. A little bit of history first, okay? When Nintendo released these to developers, a lot of them had formatting issues, so they were absolutely useless. So the developers were like, what the hell? Like, I can't use these things. And Nintendo basically was like, let me give you a program to check the disk and reformat. And that was called DN. So here's me utilizing it now. No issues with the formatting. Should be good, I guess, right? Turns out someone was able to go into this software that was, again, discovered. It's not like Nintendo released this to the public.
Yeah.
And they found a program within the program.
Ooh.
This program is called Leo. I don't really know how to... Louis. It's called Louis. Hey,
Yeah,
Louis. Louis here.
Louis, the Louiest Louis
Louis the
guy.
happiest Louis guy. Goodbye. So anyways... There he goes.
Now he's triumphant.
Yeah, exactly. So this program was actually really useful because LuigiBlood was able to use it for testing the emulation software. Basically,
Yeah.
so LuigiBlood was responsible for bringing like DD emulation onto Project 64 and onto the Mac. And this is the program that he used to help test, basically. So we tried the Leolux and or whatever it is, and the theory was that LuigiBlood had was if we could restore the system area, the dumper would be able to dump. So we attempted to restore the system area, but it also kind of didn't work, unfortunately. You know, we're giving a lot of negatives, but there are actually two significant benefits to this. Because we were doing all this testing, LuigiBlood was actually able to tinker with these programs and create new ways to test. So for example, we can now force read and write on these disks, which before we couldn't do that because basically you would attempt to read and write, and if there was an issue, you were under the constraints of what the disk drive would allow you to do.
Yeah, because you'd want certain, like, safety checks like that.
Now we can do that, which gives him pretty much complete control over these disks. So if he gets another one where he can restore the system area, but maybe the software isn't letting him or something like that, he can force it to restore.
He can brute force
He can brute force it to restore, which again could be helpful in the future. Right?
Yeah.
Secondarily, because we wanted to show you guys something on this disk, he created a writer. And it basically was the first time without official Nintendo hardware that someone was able to write content like games onto these discs, which is awesome and we're super excited about. And in fact, our next episode is going to be us playing Mario 64 disc version for you guys.
Yeah.
Now, there are people that have the full setup and are able to write to blue discs, but there's probably like 4 of them in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's
outside of maybe
rare.
somebody who's still got their stuff from Nintendo.
In our second try, we got Mario 64 disc version working. Ooh. And I was super excited about that. Because again, this is the first time that really, without the full setup, Nintendo developer setup, people are able to write to a blue disc. I mean, like, I know it's like, oh, well, we're just going to play Mario 64, but this is crazy. Like, basically, LuigiBlood somehow, through sheer willpower, genius, and know-how, just, like, formulated this thing together, just did a kick-ass job, and really helped us out. So we're really super excited. Again, first time this has actually happened. So, we also get to return the disc to Andrew with something on it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. He will now know that there is something on it, and it'll have a special watermark so that people in the future can't be duped into thinking that it's actually a development version of that game.
Exactly. So,
because the Mario disc was gray disc.
Yes.
This is blue disc.
Yeah. And, a little tidbit, too, regarding the writer, just so everybody knows. I do have to say that it is going to be kind of proprietary and private. It's not going to be released publicly on LuigiBlood's site, 64dd.org. And there are 2 reasons for that. One, who would use it? First off, like, no one has, I mean...
you'd download it and you'd be like, well, this is kind of...
I can't do anything with this. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Like, no one has the hardware to do it, so who cares, right?
Yeah, and the few people who do have the equipment, we don't want to risk one of them accidentally being like, well... I don't think there's anything on this. I'm going to write this on there. So, disk rot could have made it so it just didn't properly boot, and a minor combing through the data could have fixed whatever was causing the crash.
Exactly. So, we don't want a situation where we enable people to destroy history. Yeah.
Unless it's the Library of Alexandria.
Exactly.
Yeah, burn that bitch down.
Burn it to the ground. Burn it to the ground, I say. So, in our next episode, we're going to be playing a Mario 64 disc version on real hardware. And we're super excited about it. Why don't we just go ahead and stick it in there?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you for subscribing. We're super excited to see you guys again. Thank you for clicking that little notification button at the top to see our videos.
Tony, we didn't see them. We can't see them. That's just a camera.
Shut the fuck up, John.
Make sure to like and comment and subscribe. Start an argument with somebody else.
Yeah.
A good-natured argument. Engagement. YouTube loves it.
That's right.
And hot knives.
Hot knives. And
Those
dogs.
things. Engagement and knives.
Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and a share, and we will see you guys next time.